this here, yeah? All right, so I appreciate I am the barrier between you and a break, and it's been a long day already, so I will get to the meat of the matter very quickly. I think one of the things that's become clear as we go through the day today is that we've gotten really good at predicting what's going to happen with our systems. And you know, that's fantastic, but the problem is we get stuck there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up an opportunity where we can start closing our loop, where we go from just prediction to explain and then into act. Let's see if this works. All right. So here's the problem. The reality for most of us is that we get high priority alerts, and that could be from a dashboard, could be from an email, could be from some other notification system. And the challenge we have from this prediction is that it creates more work. We have a senior engineer or an expensive data scientist, and we stop the work that they are currently doing because of this prediction that has been put in front of them. And then what they do is they take time out of their day to start analyzing the data to figure out why this problem is happening, and then manually create a plan to fix this. The challenge we have is that this gap that we have created here is where the ROI for AI goes to die. Now, a question I have for everybody in the room: who's experienced this? Just raise your hand. Come on, we've got a couple more brave people out there. We've got a couple people doing this. That's all right, that's all right. So let me put this into an example. We have an equipment failure. We have one of our systems has made a prediction that there is a 92% chance of a failure rate on one of our pumps. So what happens? Well, either we have a dashboard or an email or a notification gets sent to one of our senior engineers, who, by the way, are very expensive, and we already have them working on other stuff. So they immediately go ahead and they stop doing the work that they're currently doing. And the first thing they do is dig into the why the problem is there in the first place. They go through sensor logs, they go through maintenance reports, and then once they've figured out why the problem's there, they create a plan. And they might use Plan, they might use Excel, but they're still taking time to put together a plan. Once they have the plan, then they go into SAP or ServiceNow, and they create a work order so they can get a technician out to fix the pump. The problem is that from the notification of when this alert came up, this prediction, between then and when we can actually get a technician out to actually do the work, can be hours, could even be days. And the problem we have is that the prediction that was sent out to us, all it did is create a race against the clock to solve the problem. We're reacting constantly to what's happening. And we're at a point now with our AI tools where we can do much more to help reduce this panic race that we have today. So let me introduce you a new model. In our new model, what we're looking to do is we want to continue with the work that we've already been doing with prediction. We want to keep the work that we've been using with our ML tools. We want to enhance what we're doing with our Gen AI tools so that we can understand the work that's happening. And then we want to be able to action the work and actually have it being resolved for us. The goal is to accelerate from understanding a problem to actually solving the problem. So let me step through each of the 3 steps and how they change in this new world that we're working in. So we start off with the area that we're already comfortable with, which is machine learning. And within machine learning, what we want to be able to do is understand the what is happening within our environment. You can consider what we have with machine learning today and how it's connected within your infrastructure as the ears and eyes of your network. It's constantly looking out there, trying to find what's happening with issues within your environment. And so in this instance, it flags pump 73 has a failure risk. That's great. But the crucial difference in the next step is that instead of just emailing an engineer and forcing them to stop the work that they're doing, what we want to be able to do is pass on the information to a system that can understand why the problem is happening. And this is where we come into our next slide. And in the explain slide, we're going to be using Gen AI. And Gen AI has come a long way in the last 3 years. I've been in the AI space for more than a decade, and I've been using Gen AI since 2018. But for all intents and purposes, when OpenAI launched ChatGPT 3 years ago, that was really the first dawn of Gen AI for most of us. And in the last 3 years, we've seen tremendous progress from Gen AI. And I think it would be fair to say, a lot of people in the room are using Gen AI today. And what we can do is we can pull in those records, and we can actually analyze the records. And it can allow us to do two things. One is we can understand the why. So the machine learning has provided all this information, and now we can understand what is causing the problem, why we're having to be alerted. But then more importantly, we understand what is the plan to execute and close the problem. And so, actually, a quick question. Have any of you used like the latest LLM models to actually start doing any planning? You have a new project that is getting started up, and you're using Copilot or some similar tool, and have you asked it the question on how to create a plan for the work that you're working on? Excellent, excellent. I just recently started at a new company about 4 months ago, and before starting, 2 weeks before joining, I actually did exactly that. I went into Gemini at the time and asked it to put together a 90-day plan for me that I've actually stuck to quite rigidly. And it's the Gen AI tools are really good at planning. The challenge we have, though, is that plans are great, but they don't get the work done. So using our senses, we understand what's happening in our environment. Using Gen AI, we understand what is happening with I'm getting flashed the card already. What is happening with understanding the work. The next stage is understanding the path to execution and the act. So in this instance, we can call this the hands. So this is where agentic AI really comes into play. And you've heard a lot today, and I'm sure you are being absolutely bombarded with information on agentic AI. Next week, Microsoft has their Ignite conference, and I've already received 3 letters from Microsoft telling me about their wonderful agent tools. But the agent tools are only effective if you're going through this process where you understand the cause of the problem, understand why the problem is there, the plan on how to solve the problem, and then having something go out and actually execute against the problem until it is solved. And I'm sure you're already doing experiments with agents in your organization. We are definitely on version 1 of agent technology right now, but it is evolving very rapidly. So from the experience that we've had of implementing agents, what have we seen? We've seen, if you compare the old traditional ways, the ways that we're doing it today, where there's a lot of manual interaction and a lot of human-based delay, where we're waiting for people to react to dashboards or emails that have come through alerting us. The old way, we would see that it would take hours to days to actually do any completion, mean time to resolution on any of our work. The new way is we're looking at seconds and minutes. And what's really important is that by taking this path, what we're able to do is have the work being executed continuously in the background. So we're not waiting for that human to be actually come in and do the final transaction. Now, I've been using an example here of a manufacturing facility, pump 73, poor old pump 73, is finally fixed. But you can apply this to anywhere in your organization. And in many ways, what I would encourage you to think of with the new AI model is that this is your new operating model. And this is how you should be thinking within your organizations, is how can you automate and augment at an accelerated pace your complete organization. So, my final slide. Wow, I have a thank you slide after this, so almost my final slide. My final slide to you is a call to action. My question is, what is the most critical system within your organization where it is currently stuck between that gap between prediction and action? Think about it, understand what it is, and start there. My name's Matthew David, the man with 2 first names. Any questions?